My name is Tanya Maté. I'm from Canada, from Vancouver. I work as a naturopathic doctor, and in Canada, naturopathic doctors have, and in the States, in some states and provinces, we have a similar scope of practice to family doctors. So I can prescribe drugs, I can do minor surgery. I'm licensed as a primary care provider. Which means that I've had medical school training. But we learn to do things in a different kind of way. The philosophy of treatment is different. So instead of suppressing symptoms, we're looking for root causes and treating them naturally where possible, stimulating the body to heal itself using tools from nature where we can. Ayahuasca, I think, does the same thing, but in a faster way. I came to the temple because I've been interested in seeing what's happening in Peru for a while, and the temple has an excellent reputation in terms of safety and integration. Those are kind of the two reasons that I came here specifically. A lot of places don't necessarily have a great safety reputation, especially as a woman traveling alone. So I felt really safe and welcomed coming here, and processing integration is helping people understand their experiences that they have in ceremony and then bringing that into the real world. And the temple is developing an integration program that seems to be further along than other centers. I've been on other ayahuasca retreats, and it's influenced my practice a lot, because as far as I'm concerned, like, disease is a disconnection from self and from spirit, and not everybody is ready to talk about things in terms of spirit, and I think that that's fine. And part of the work that I'm interested in doing is developing more language around speaking about spiritual things in a non-spiritual language, really being able to connect to people where they're at. But disconnection from self is something that a lot of people can relate to. Disconnection from nature, disconnection in terms of the way that we live in the world, concrete cities, and really fast-paced life, and an inability to connect with emotions in a healthy way. So what I've seen time and time again is that all chronic illness, chronic disease, cancer, diabetes, autoimmune disease, whatever, heart disease, and chronic injury, things that don't get better. There's first something that your body's trying to tell you. There's a story there, and if you can connect that story in a meaningful way for yourself, then that helps understand what it is that your body's trying to teach you. And true healing has to deal with psychospiritual roots of chronic illness, and often that goes back to early childhood. And getting to those places can be really difficult. For a lot of people, it's really blocked out and difficult to make those connections. And then for people who've experienced more significant traumas, it's really difficult to work through it, to talk about it, to enter into that trauma space. It's very sensitive work, and it takes a long time, and you have to be gentle with it. And even after many, many years, people still don't feel free of it. Same with addiction, which has its roots in trauma as well. So finding ways to actually get to the roots of those things is really difficult. You can support the body, and you can support the mind, and you can support the person to do their work and help them along, and it goes slow. Ayahuasca works really quickly, and it's not different in essence from psychotherapy or meditation or other ways in to the core of your own being, but it works really fast. And a lot of people who grew up in Western societies don't have patience to begin with. And if they want to, have a healthy life, be alive, spending 20 years in therapy, it's just like there's so many other things they could be doing for themselves and for the world. Come spend a week in the jungle and take care of a whole bunch of that stuff. So people talk about one ayahuasca ceremony can be equivalent to 10 years of psychotherapy in one night. Obviously that can be a lot for someone. And whether the experience in ceremony is really difficult or really beautiful and amazing, it can be difficult to bring that back into life and actually make the changes that need to happen. And that's where integration comes in, helping people understand their experiences, because sometimes, it's jungle medicine, and sometimes the messages come in a way that is foreign to the way that we're conditioned to think about the world. So finding ways to understand those experiences, first of all, and then recognize the tools and the teachings that get given to you in ceremony, and actually take that back into your life. Make the changes that you need to make so that you can be healthy and free and alive. The temple offers a lot of support for people having these experiences. I mean, some ceremonies, you go and you drink medicine and that's it. You leave the next day and you go home and people think that they've experienced ayahuasca, and in some ways they have, but ayahuasca is such a multifaceted teacher. There's so many different things that can be learned and healed doing that work, and making those connections is so important. So the staff at the temple is very supportive. There were 2 facilitators here the whole time, just working nonstop to make sure that everybody had what they needed, and especially looking out for people who had difficult experiences in the nighttime. Not letting people be alone with it is really incredible. There's a lot of group support, which is important. Spending a week with a group of strangers is, even without any ayahuasca, one of the most powerful things you can do. Seeing the ways that you're the same as somebody else, and how everybody's problems start in the same place. It's really powerful. Something that I see a lot is, from that disconnection, a lot of people are lonely. And it's 2 sides of the same coin. People are lonely because they're disconnected. They're not expressing their true selves, so they can't connect to people. And then they feel lonely, so they feel more disconnected, and it just perpetuates. So coming and actually being vulnerable and having these experiences with other people and getting to hear about them from other people is part of that step toward having true connection in life. And I think that that's really important. So the group sharings that are facilitated here are so important. And some of the tools that are given in terms of integration. And I can see that the focus here has really been emphasized, that the integration and what you do in your life is what's more important than the ceremony, and I absolutely agree with that. The ceremony is the start. The ceremony opens some stuff up for you, and then it's time to actually do that work and take it into your life and make the changes you need to make. I felt very supported in that way, and I saw that everybody here was very supported in that way. One of the things that's really great about here is that it's a full-on nature retreat. And I think a full-on nature retreat, if you take a full-on nature retreat by yourself in the week, for a week in the woods with no other people around, it'll be good for you. If you go into a classroom with a group of people for a week, it'll be good for you. If you go into the woods with a group of people for a week, it'll be even better for you. And then if you go into the jungle with a group of people for 12 days and drink ayahuasca, it's so transformative. The schedule is pretty packed here for the 12-day intensive, and it's packed with all kinds of healing that is very plant-focused, and that's really exciting to me. Some of the ways that I've worked have been more process-focused and psychologically focused, and I think that that's important and absolutely has its place. There's something about connecting to nature, getting flower baths every day and plant remedies every morning and evening, and seeing the plants growing in the jungle in their natural environment, and that's part of the connection that's missing in Western society as well, is the connection to nature. So being able to do that, as well as some of the psychological stuff at the same time, is very powerful. Yeah. And Temple of the Way of Light is inspiring. It's inspiring on a lot of levels. It's inspiring to know that there are people here doing this work. It's inspiring to know that there's a safe place that I can send people to do this work. Ayahuasca on its own is quite inspiring, and then to have a container like this built, a home like this built, where people can come and do this work and have these experiences and work with this medicine is completely inspiring.